Hey, Steeler Nation, coming at you after a big win, Hall of Fame game. Three Steelers quarterbacks played, three Steeler quarterbacks get points on the board. Super excited about that tonight. They did a great job, and Steelers can walk out winners for the first game of the evening. I'm taking questions as we're going on. This is a Q&A session, so if anybody has some questions, now is the time. I got lots to talk about this game. There's a lot of stuff that I see. Yes, Sean over on Twitter, Harvin is the starter now. If that competition was going to be close at all, it's going to Harvin. Like, even if he was just going to be like okay or just barely behind or average with Barry, it was going to be his job just from a financial standpoint. But he put together 4 incredible kicks. This might be the best punting game I've seen out of a Steeler since Sepulveda's early days. 4 different kicks. First kick, high and deep, no return at all. We had 3 defenders at the point of catch. Second kick, showing off an Aussie roll, spinning backwards at the 1-yard line, being downed at the 1. Third kick was a angled kick out of bounds at the 10-yard line. No return possible. And even with the height of that kick, there was no return possible. We had the gunner down there. Fourth kick being a forward roll, kind of like a low liner, but I don't even know if that was intentional. But the result was the Steelers got another ball. So they got another play. They got another drive. It was awesome to see. I'm a big fan of PH3. He's on the team in my book. I think he's the only person to play his way onto the roster in the first preseason game. I'll tell you who played off of the roster in his first preseason game. Sloman, the other kicker. He was horrible. Is he going to make the roster? No, man, slow man. He's out. But that was his problem when he was kicking this whole season prior. I mean, I think San Fran was the one that picked him up first, and he was missing a kick a game in his first in 8 games that he played. I think he only had 1 game when he didn't miss a kick. Other 7 games he missed a kick. So guy is not solid. I had to rewatch the holds because Harvin was the holder on those plays. But I know after the first kick, I didn't see the first hold. But after that, the holds were good. He was getting him down. He's getting him down quick. And he's a big target. So that's another big job to be taken away because Barry is an incredible holder. Which of the 3 quarterbacks played best, Steven? In my opinion tonight, I'm really surprised the way Josh Dobbs played. I think all of them played well, and I like the way all of them played. And they all played within the game. Rudolph was moving the ball well. We had a couple plays where they were going to extend some drives, but Claypool drops a pass on a big, what would have been a big first down. And then you had that fumbled exchange with Claypool and Rudolph, which happened right after a big first down on third down. So, Rudolph did some good things. I thought Haskins did some good things. It seemed like the offense had a little bit of a spark and was moving the football down the field a little better when he was in there. But I was completely surprised by Dobbs. I did not think Dobbs was going to do anything. He extended plays. He got to the edge. He didn't force the ball. He made plays with his feet. He made the smart throws. Made a good throw for the touchdown too. So, I will edge Dobbs just a little bit. But as far as for being in the league for as many years as he should be the best quarterback on the field playing against the fourth stringers in the fourth quarter. Coming back, though, yeah, I think it's still wide open. I still don't think Dobbs is going to be on the team. I think it's going to be Haskins making the team. And I think Haskins will be pushing the 4 backup. So Mark Arndt, I agree with you there on that one. Yeah, I mean, I was super, super, super excited. 2 scoring drives by Haskins, of course. Well, we had a scoring drive by Rudolph. They get the field goal. They would have had 2 scoring drives that they would have made the other short field goal. But Sloman's to blame on that one. And I still really don't know what happened on that fumbled exchange. I'll break that one down a little bit more and talk about that on the podcast. Balaj was killing it. And that is the way the running backs look like they were slotted today. First one, obviously, Najee Harris. Amazing that the number 2 back was McFarland. Already early in the preseason, he's ahead of Balaj. He was ahead of Samuels. Samuels has been to the team longer, but he knows that Matt Canada offense, and he looked well in it. He did a good job out of the backfield as a receiver. He did a good job toting the rock. So I can't be upset with the way he looked today, but Balaj looked great. Balaj did all he could do, like makes us think Benny who. So we don't know if Benny Snell's going to make the team now. Obviously, it's tough for him to make it because he's been hurt. But we'll have to see how he does moving forward. I'm with you too. 2021 save us. Dobbs, best fourth string quarterback in the NFL. Who knows? Steelers might even be able to get another draft pick out of him this offseason because everybody I thought looked really good from the quarterback slot today. Yeah, Mason. I know everybody has their opinions. Like I said, I thought all three of the quarterbacks moved the football well. They made good throws. We had a couple drops, one by Claypool, two by that other, by that tight end that just joined us. He looked pretty bad in his first action out there on the field with us. I'll get to his name here a little later. But my takeaways from the game, first thing I wanted to talk about was our starting offensive line. And starting offensive line played the whole first half. And keep in mind, there's probably only one player here that wasn't even projected as a starter, but who might start, and that's Green. Green right now is ahead of Hassenauer at center on the depth chart. Hassenauer played in the second half. So Green right now looks like he has the edge in the early going to be the next center for the Steelers, which is great because he has the best upside. But that first starting line was Moore left tackle, Finney, BJ Finney, Green, Coward, and Haig. The only other person that has a chance of starting would be Moore, and that's only if Chooks is hurt at left tackle. Otherwise, Moore is going to be locked into being your swing tackle and coming in as the extra tackle. I think that's going to be his role. Second offensive line on the field. Where did I place that one? It was off the Bundage touchdown. I can't find it. It's on here somewhere. But I remember Hassenauer was the center on those. There it is. Hassenauer the center. You had Avante Collins left tackle, Walton in the left guard spot, Hassenauer, Leglue right guard, Chaz Green right tackle. So, you know, that a lot of those guys probably aren't going to be making this team. Hassenauer probably has the best shot out of all of them for sticking. Maybe Leglue as well, also just because he's so diverse, he can pretty much play every spot on the line, but he's got to play a little bit better. Just a couple quick notes that I have for my takeaways. Obviously, I said at the top of the show, Presley Harvin he gets the game ball. He was amazing today. 4 awesome punts, 4 punts in 4 different ways. Best punting game I've seen since Sepulveda when he was early on in his career before he started getting his leg issues. Claypool had an up and down game on offense. He had some big catches to extend the chains, but he also had a fumble, had that big catch deep, but was he injured? If he was injured, I watched that play a couple times. He did not hurt his shoulder. I was worried the first time he went down to the ground. I was thinking it might be a shoulder separation, AC joint, something with the clavicle. Shoulder never hit the ground, so it was never that. He landed on the ball, which to me looked like it either knocked the wind out of him or it's an intercostal rib injury where the muscle in between your 2 ribs can get stretched and get strained. It's a really painful injury, but you can still play through it. But it looked like he was laughing and smiling on the sideline. I don't think he's hurt. So we'll just chalk that one up to we think that it's just the standard, got the wind knocked out of me. And I was surprised to see all of the starting receivers from last year, all the 4 of the 5. Juju obviously didn't play, but you had DJ, Claypool, and Ray coming in early, and then Washington subbing in. So all the early starters that are going to be rostered played today, other than Juju. And the big thing, another takeaway, DJ didn't drop a pass. So good job, Johnson. Keep building on that, baby, because there's big things for you. You're going to get a lot of targets. Balaj, I thought, looked great. All the quarterbacks looked good. Over on defense, Highsmith and Roche were looking really good, getting pressure, consistent pressure, and rushing the passer. Both had sacks. Marsh also, surprisingly, I thought Marsh is out of it. But against higher talent, he got that forced fumble. He was also meeting the quarterback in the backfield on Highsmith's sack. So I'm not going to discredit what Marsh was doing today. He had a couple good tackles in the run game as well. So Marsh has got the arrow pointing up this season. It looks like he wants to stick on here, and he wants to take some of these plays away from Roche and the new Irvin that we picked up as well. So we'll have to see moving forward. Tyler Simmons, Oh, that was off of that one. Pierre and Norwood were making plays as well down the field. I liked what they were doing. And I know Justin Lane had an up and down game, but the one thing you got to see about Justin Lane was he's showing off what they are starting to teach in training camp this year. And that is Coach Austin preaching, you reach with the left hand, you wrap, and you punch with the right hand. Punch that ball every time you're going down. I saw Lane do it twice, once on that big forced fumble on that deep play where we got the ball back. And it was, I think Brooks was the one with the return, nifty return after that. And then the second time was off of the big run. He did it again. He missed the ball, but he did make the tackle. But I like seeing that. That's going to give a lot of opportunities for us to get the ball. We're used to seeing the Ravens do that, guys. We're used to seeing Humphreys punch that ball out on that wrap hand. Now it's going to be our team. So this is the way we are starting to teach the defensive backs wrap and punch. And hopefully it's going to put more balls on the ground. A lot of balls went on the ground today, especially in the backfield on a lot of those sacks too. We had a couple strip sacks. Two of them we didn't recover, but it was still, we're getting balls on the ground. And that's what you need out of your defense. Try to get your offense another possession. Special teams, like I said, Sloman's not making the team. Four kicks by Percy Harvin, 4 different ways. Awesome job. Great coverage teams today. Love the way they were playing. I don't know if it was Brown or if it was Balaj on special teams because they both weigh the same number, but there was 2 tackles off of that number. And if it was Balaj, guy's on the team. I mean, if he's making plays on special teams and running the rock like that, he's got a spot. Steiner with a big special teams tackle and an interception on the nice read. He came in and he broke on the ball, cut the route, picked off the ball. That's something we haven't seen out of our free safeties in a while. We can seem to be like, other than Minka, obviously, but we seem to be playing a little far back prior to Minka with our free safeties. But this is a nice attack that we saw out of Steiner today with a nice interception. Sexton also with a nifty return on the one play. So we'll go back to some questions here. Should Presley Harvin be fitted for his gold jacket while he's in Canton? Riley Hand, I love that. I'd hope yes, but I think there's only one punter in Canton. Is that Ray Guy? If I'm just going off the top of my head, and if not, if Ray Guy's not in there, there's no punter in Canton. But it would be nice to see another one get in there eventually. But you've got to build a long career to get into Canton as a punter. And but if he starts off like this and he punts like this every game, we're going to start talking about it in 10, 15 years. So Balaj needs to make the team over Samuels from Rod. There might be a chance that both of them make the team this year. Samuel's odd man out. Ron Roden over at Steeler Ron, aka Steeler Ron. I don't know. Like Samuels, I still think it's going to be between Samuels and Snell for that position. I think for that 5th running back position. But if either one right now, I think they're going to be inactive. So Samuels makes the team. I think he's going to be inactive. Striker Snell may get traded to the Rams. I've heard that, Jamie Komet. I think it's just talk right now. I'd love for it to happen, but it's tough to trade a guy if he's injured. No chance of trading a guy when he's injured. So we'll have to wait for him and see if he can get fixed up here a little bit and see if we can end up trading him to the Rams. Because if their coaches like him, I'm all for getting I'm fine with anything, any pick. Doesn't have to be a 3rd rounder, which I think is what we got Snell at. Pretty sure we went 3rd round for Snell. I'm going off the top of my head. You guys can correct me because I'm just reading off of you guys. Ball, the former Ohio State tight end. Yeah, he dropped 2. I didn't think I said for hitting the showers tonight. Ball number 1 for dropping 2 passes that hit him in the hands. Mullet looked lost at some times. He missed some reads. Samuel's also we're talking about him now as well. He's looking slower than he did last year to me. I don't know how he looked to you guys, but he was always a little bit quicker. He was always a little bit more elusive, and it looked like he had a better top end getting to the edge. This year, it looks like he's just a little slower. So I don't know if he's dealing with something and still playing through it, but he just does not look like the same guy that he's been the last couple of years. Michelle Martinez over on Facebook, I'm with you. I hope Ben has a good year too. This is the year that doesn't always have to be on Ben. The way that this 2nd string line is blocking, if that's going to be any indication on how our 1st string line is going to block, it's going to take a lot of pressure off of Ben. And that's something that we can all love and watch as Steeler fans. Robert Landino asking, am I crazy to think Mason looked like a clear-cut backup after this game? Haskins did not impress. I think they both look good. To tell you, I thought all three look good. And like I said, if I had to rank them, I think Dobbs looked the best tonight. But yeah, I don't think tonight changed the pecking order at all. I still think it's still Rudolph 2, still Haskins 3, still Dobbs 4. Can that change before the end of training camp? Yes. Yes, it can. But right now, that's where it is. It's right where the depth chart lies. And we'll have to watch practices moving into the next couple weeks to see if they switch and start having Haskins run some with the second team, possible first team on the days that Ben is out, just to see if he can do anything or to see how he looks. It might be a wait and see thing for the team, but I don't think they're going to try to push him. I think right now Haskins is just happy to be in this situation where he does not have to be the man. He can learn, no pressure on him whatsoever. And it's the best way, I think, to get the most out of him. You Ohio State University guys should be happy for that, because I think he can be an NFL quarterback. And, you know, Riddick, when I interviewed him too, he said nothing but excellent things about Haskins. And he thinks Haskins can be a great quarterback in this league. So I'm hoping he's right. Green looked good. I agree. I think Green did look really good as well. Thanks there, Steeler Ron, for jumping in on that one. Hola, Steeler Nation, Chica Man 66. Hola, señor. Mucho gusto, señor. Yeah, it's good to see a nice win for the Steelers, and good for a Latina Steeler Nation in here checking in always. Tyler Simmons looked great. And Matt Sexton, I was happy for the both of them. Matt Sexton had a nice catch out of the end zone, but yeah, I was happy with the way all the receivers played today, Kenneth. Good to see you, Kenny. I know you're always active here when we're up, so awesome to see you. Snell can go. Samuels plays special teams, plays slot. Yeah. I mean, it's big as well. I agree with you there too, Drew Campbell. That's probably going to happen. Sexton with a great punt return, definitely Chico Man. Is our O-line going to be as bad as people chalk it up to be? No, Steven, over on Twitter. Not at all. Like I said, you can see some drive. You can see actually being excited for a third and fourth and short and running the ball, thinking you actually have a chance this year, where before we didn't have one at all. So it's going to be really nice to see once they finally get, you know, Trey Turner back in there at guard on the right side, and you throw big Kevin Dotson on the left side. You throw the earth mover Banner at right tackle on Chooks or more. I'd be happy with either. I think Chooks is going to do fine at his natural left tackle spot, but that line has to get together as quickly as possible, because I'd like to see that line gel before the first game of the year, and hopefully they're all going to be healthy. Quincy Roche definitely flashed. Yeah, Chico Man, loved his effort. This is the type of thing that I like about watching preseason games. And as a fan, you watch these new guys and you're like, oh my gosh, that guy did really well. And I'd always watch these guys that would flash in preseason. A couple names that always stuck out of me in preseason. Joey Porter, when his first 2 years before he became a starter, he flashed in preseason. James Harrison, his first 2 years before he became a starter, he flashed in free agency. And these are things that I love to see. That's why when it was both of their times to start, I had no worry. I'm like, Porter can play. I've seen it all last couple of years. He's been working his way through the system. He's going to be great in the system. And he was. Same thing with Harrison. Oh my gosh, Porter left. We don't have anybody. It's like, no, we've got James Harrison, and this guy's going to be great. And he was. So Roche to be the next man up, possibly. Not even like we even need a next man up now with the way that Highsmith is looking, because Highsmith is showing different plays, man. He was my player of the game on defense. Very disruptive, going up against their best talent. And that's what I want to see, because he's got to beat the man in front of him. Steelers love there. Michelle Martinez. We're going to be good. Like last year, yeah, we're going to be better than last year, in my opinion, but we're going to have a tough schedule. But so does the rest of our division. So we have to beat up our division, though. That's going to be where it is. My boy Alex Highsmith looked great. Yes, he did. Yes, Chico Man, I am Cope. I am not drunk tonight. It's a sober Cope tonight. I only had one drink tonight. I had to finish the pickle juice in the fridge, and I put vodka in it. So that's what I do. So that was my drink of choice. I didn't even have a beer tonight. I was just taking notes, rewinding film, just checking to see who's on the field, doing geek stuff just for you guys so we can talk now. Look, I'm still geeked. It's like half an hour past the game, and I'm still excited. So I'm glad for you guys joining here and asking questions. Alex Highsmith might have more sacks than TJ Watt this season. That's not going to happen, Chico, man. It's not. But TJ Watt being so good on his side is going to give Alex Highsmith the ability to beat one man instead of beating two men. And that's the best you can hope for, is to have two guys that can rush the passer at a high clip, just like we had with Bud when he was healthy with Watt. Love that. We've had that with Harrison and Woodley early in his career. Porter and Haggins. I mean, it just keeps going down the list, man. We've been blessed at the way we found outside linebackers. Green and Lloyd, my gosh, we're just killing it on the outside. For outside linebackers. I'm hoping Highsmith is our next great. I'm hoping Roche is the next great that can build up in the system for a couple years, and we'll figure out what to do with them later. But right now, like, TJ Watt's our future. You back up the Brinks tank, man. We're not getting rid of that guy. You give him the highest contract because the salary cap, huge amount of space for next year, and it's going to explode. It's going to explode these next couple of years. Like we were used to going up 10 million a year. We might have a 20 mil jump. We might have a couple 20 mil jumps here coming up. So that's really going to make these contracts seem cost effective, playing a player like that on defense and backing up the truck for him. And we might have to do it for Minka as well. Good guy. He's if he keeps making plays for us, I'd back up the truck for him. Getting it back up. Jameer Jones, good call, Patrick Mason. Yes, Jameer Jones did stick out too with his pressure and had a good sack and a near sack. He was getting good pressure tonight, and that's all you can ask for going up against lower competition. You got to flash, and he's flashing. So yeah, he could be a practice squad guy. I don't see him making the team, especially with how good Roche played today, Marsh played today. I mean, I feel a lot better about my outside linebackers today after the game than I did going into this game. So it's a good problem to have, man. If you're 5'6" deep in outside linebackers, the rest of the league envies you. So we'll have to see how it shakes out for Jameer Jones, but he keeps his nose to the grindstone. He's getting practice squatted for sure, at the very least. Yeah, Chico, man, good point. Thinking Highsmith playing alongside Hayward could be really helpful. Hayward is consistently double teamed, and you're right. He could feast off of that and get some good tackles, and Bud feasted off of that as well, and that will be on that side. So we'll have to see how that shakes out this season. That's an excellent point. So love talking this stuff. I mean, who knows who's right? We'll see. We'll have to have a fun bet there, Chico, man. Who's going to have more sacks, Highsmith or Watt? I mean, I'm betting Watt. If you want to take Highsmith, you take Highsmith. We'll talk about the bet. Justin Lane looked lost. He made some plays. He had some passes defensed. He made a forced fumble. Still first preseason game. Couple guys. There's some breakdowns in coverage there as well. So we'll have to see how it works out. But Lane is kind of playing with the 1 foot in the doghouse too, with his problems in the offseason. So we'll have to see. He'll really have to step up and show. Like Alex Kozora has been writing these excellent training camp diaries. He goes to every training camp date that the public can go to, and it's like you're there. And he's been saying, Lane looked lost early in training camp, but he's starting to improve, and he needs to. If he wants to make the roster, he has to, because Norwood's looking great, Pierre's looking great. I'm really happy with those guys coming in. So if somebody from behind doesn't shoot him in the roster, we'll have to see what comes out. Sutton, of course. Sutton played well. So I'm excited about these young corners. We'll have to see how this shakes out. And who knows who our slot guy is going to be. I saw Brooks there for a little bit. So we'll see. Late to the party, it's time to move Rudolph to someone who needs depth for a 6th or 7th. Rick, I am not giving Rudolph for a 6th and 7th. He is a backup quarterback. Riddick said it on the interview that we had. He is the prototypical backup quarterback, and backup quarterbacks have value, and it's more than a 6th or 7th. We might get a 6th or 7th from Dobbs this year. So, Rudolph for a backup mid-round, 4, 5, 6. 3 would be pushing it, but 4, 5, 6, which is right around when he was drafted. I believe he was drafted in the 4th. But that comes down to the Steelers thinking, is he going to be our quarterback of the future? Or is he going to be the backup to Haskins next year? because I'm still fine with that as being your quarterback room. If you still Haskins and Rudolph, if Haskins has more upside, plays him out, pushes for the number 2 spot this year, passes Rudolph for number 2. It means next year, if Ben leaves, you got Haskins at 1, Rudolph at 2. Then you can draft somebody to groom. You know, and you don't have to force them in there like all these crappy teams have to force their quarterbacks into it. Was Brown good? Oh, good. Brown. Okay. Thank you, Sean Frazzini. So Brown was the guy making the tackles on the special teams tackles. So I wasn't sure if it was Balaj or Brown because they were wearing the same number. That's why. But thank you very much. Yeah, Brown was looking great on special teams, and that's how you make this team for depth. Is if you're making big plays on special teams, and he did. He was getting down the field. He was getting clear as a gunner, and he was making tackles. Pierre, Norwood, Mallett all looked like more in tune with the defense. I didn't like Mallett as much. I wasn't as high on Mallett. He did make some plays, but he did make some mental mistakes today, and I did see him lose some coverage today. No sacks allowed by the offensive line. Great point, Patrick Mason. I did not even notice that today. A little luck with this running game, and also a good job by all 3 quarterbacks creating some space with their legs and throwing the ball away when it was time to throw the ball away, not forcing it, not making any big problem, forcing any big problems. So, you know, they did the right play. So yeah, that's a big reason not to have any turnovers. Yeah, I'm with you too, Chico, man. Balaj is making the team. Haskins has been here 6 months and looks more comfortable than Mason. Logan, I don't know if I agree with that. I still think Mason looked comfortable. I still think he was throwing good plays that were hitting people in the hands and they were dropping them. I'm not sold against Mason for this game. And like I said, I don't think this game changed the depth chart at quarterback at all today. Snell and Samuels might both be out. That could be a possibility. I've seen stranger things. Kenny loves Balaj over there on YouTube. Awesome. What are my thoughts on Raider tonight? I liked what I saw. That's Lauren Bird. He looked bigger than what I remembered, Lauren. I know he had a nice catch from what I'm remembering. I did not watch any of his inline blocking, but I think he was in on the Balaj touchdown because I remembered marking everybody on that one. So, you know, you got to block to make the team if you want to be late. And he was a good blocker last year, or he's been on the team for 2 years now, hopping around the practice squad. So he's made the practice squad as a blocker. Today he's starting to show he can catch the ball a little bit. He's getting some good press in from Alex Kozora also for training camp. It looks like they say he has better hands. I think he's only had 1 drop already that they've seen in training camp, but showing good hands all around. Pinkston saying Big Ben, Dobbs, and Haskin are 3 quarterbacks. That's wishful thinking for Dobbs, and I agree that Dobbs played the best, but he didn't play his way onto the roster tonight yet. We'll have to start seeing him get increased snaps in training camp before we start saying that. The whole seems full of jitters. That's what happens early in games. I mean, this is half of the rosters never played in an NFL game today, so it's always going to be a little jittery, but they stood fast. They held them to field goals, no touchdowns. They missed a lot of field goals. We missed a lot of field goals. Not a good kicking game all around. Chico Man stating Loudermilk stood out in the first half. He has a quick first step, needs to learn to finish, but looked good. I'm not sure if you can sneak him onto the practice squad. Yeah, Chico Man, that's the crazy thing too, because when they drafted Loudermilk, they were already thick at defensive line. I didn't think they had a single position where they could fit anybody. I mean, all the way across. You still have Tuitt. You have Alualu. You got Hayward as the starters. Then behind him, you still have Mondo, Davis, and Bugs. And I might be missing somebody. I can't remember if they went 6 or 7. But then throwing in Loudermilk, now you have a 7th, which means somebody's not going to be on the team. Or you got to take somebody from linebacker or take somebody from secondary, which just is not going to happen in a 3-4 alignment. You can't allot 7 players for 3 positions, especially when you're going to have 2 positions there on the field a lot of the time. So to me, it's somebody's got to be odd man out, and it might be Davis versus I wanted to say something that freaking Bugs. Davis versus Bugs for that last slot now. And they were fighting on the sideline at the end of last season. They might be fighting for that last roster spot for this season. So that'll be something interesting to see because the coaches love Loudermilk, but I'm with you. I don't think there's any way he stays on the practice squad if we try to sneak him there. Thoughts on Dan Moore and Kendrick Green? I thought Kendrick Green looked great. I thought he was moving well. I thought he was getting out on the edge passes pretty well with his movement, and that's what you need to be a Steeler center and a great Steeler center. You have to be able to move, disengage, get to that second level, and make your blocks. So looking forward to that. I saw him pushing some guys to the ground too. He really likes to push, and if you saw a lot of our interior runs early in that game, 3rd and short, we were going right up Kendrick Green's butt. So yeah, I like the way he played. Dan Moore didn't let up a sack. It looked like he was setting his edge. I think there's room for improvement with Dan, but I like what I'm seeing out of him. So both of them, both being just drafted this year, I think both of them have upside. Both of them have the potential to be starters. Kendrick Green a little bit earlier than Dan Moore, just because I don't think the talent is there ahead of Kendrick Green, but Dan Moore has more talent ahead of him to be able to stick in a starting role first. But I wouldn't be upset, and I think he's going to be our extra tackle. I honestly think day one he will be our extra tackle coming in and the swing tackle in case anybody gets hurt during a game. Also, when am I getting my phone fixed? Thanks, Zach. Yes. My phone pooped the bed yesterday. Touchscreen stopped working completely, so I can't use it at all. I'm communicating only via email and now social media. But phone is done. I'm getting it back. I should have it by Sunday, Monday, and have it all set and ready to use again. So I'll be coming back soon, Zach, and I'll see you there, Steeler Nation, over there. One of the writers over at Steeler Nation. Love you guys chiming in. Raven Lassiter over on Twitter. Why didn't Pat Freiermuth play? Pat Freiermuth was hurt. We don't know if it's a big injury. Alex Kozora said he had a ice pack on his shoulder at the end of practice. I think it was 2 practices ago. So I think they're just using it precautionarily. You obviously don't want to force a guy to play if he's a little banged up or dinged up, especially when you have him projected to be one of your top 2 tight ends and you drafted him high. So let him rest. We're not winning the Super Bowl in the first preseason game of the year, a week before anybody else plays. So, get well, Freiermuth. I can't wait to see Muth coming in there. Steeler Nation, you got to yell Muth every time he catches that ball because love the way that sounds in a stadium. It's going to sound like Moose Johnston over there on the Dallas Cowboys every time he did something out of the fullback spot. Justin Lane project should be done. It's early, Drew. We got 4 more preseason games before we get to cut that guy. But he needed to hit the showers a bit tonight. But I did love his punch, his rapid punch on that forced fumble. You can't take that away from the guy. Great play. Saludos, Mexico. Nice. Chencho AW over there on Twitter. Good chiming in there, brother. Good chiming in there. It's up in the air. We'll see go Steelers. God bless. Going to the Steelers game November 14th versus the Lions. Good job, Stephen Pinkston. I will be there probably at that game. If it's a home game, I'm going to try to make as many home games as we can make. Rick Giddings, how fast do you think we cut that kicker? Sloman's not making a team. I mean, don't get that wrong, but you can't force Boz to make every single kick in preseason. You rest Boz. Boz is an all-pro. He's a Pro Bowler. You let him rest. You let Sloman kick, and he'll get cut at the beginning of preseason, beginning when the roster cuts happen. He's not making the team, but you don't want Boz to wear out his leg. We need him for the regular season. So Sloman, you're just a camp leg. So sorry about that, but it's the truth. Honestly, if something bad happens to Boz, I don't even think we go with Sloman. I think we go out and try to find somebody else. I'm that low on Sloman right now. Would have liked to see more Rico Bosi. Yep. Much more. He didn't play much, only 3 drives, 1 reception, 4 yards. Yeah, he's got a lot of talk in preseason. He's a training camp phenom right now. Everybody's yelling out Rico from the sidelines when he's making some big plays in training camp. But yeah, we did not get to see much of him tonight. That was due in the fact that the Steelers played a lot of their top receivers tonight. Whole half out of Washington, Ray, DJ, and Claypool. So once Claypool got banged up, they pulled him out. But when you do that, it means you guys farther down the roster aren't going to get a shot. And Rico is a little farther down, but hopefully he gets some shots. I'd like to see what he can do in some games. Trade Mason down, get some value back for Dobbs and Haskin. I'm not ready to trade anybody yet. Somebody's got to make a big number trade for me to get rid of Mason today. And today it would at least have to be a third or fourth rounder. But still, if he's your backup now, might be your backup next season, you don't get rid of that guy. He's a backup quarterback in the NFL, and he's a good one. I think you can hold the fort for a couple games and win a couple. So that's all you need out of your backups. What's up with Kevin Dotson? Kevin Dotson has an injury. Let me bring up my injury report list over here because I keep track of injuries. It's one of the geeky things I do for Steeler Nation is write down injuries and keep track of what's going on. So my write-up now for Dotson, we have him as an unknown injury. He's been pretty much out the entire preseason. He's yet to practice, but he's had his helmet on. He's run with the number 2s in pre-camp lines before training camp starts, but he hasn't actually gotten into any plays in training camp. I think he's got something that the Steelers aren't going to push him back for. Same thing with Banner. They're really limiting Banner snaps as well. He's coming in on some 7 shots here just on the goal line. And that's pretty much the only snaps he's taken so far for these last couple practices. But they're going to be as cautious as possible for all of their starting offensive linemen. Same thing with Chooks, though. Chooks is the one I'm the most worried about. Haven't heard a whole lot for him. He's been doing some individual drills. It looks like from my sheets, not team drills. Okay, so he's working his way back. Okay, now I don't feel as bad. So he's limited. I have him in the yellow. And I'll have this up. It'll be on SteelerNation.com in the football forum. It'll be stickied. So you guys, if you travel to SteelerNation.com in the football forum, you'll be able to see me geekily tracking all the actions and stuff and everything going on. And the only player we've lost so far is DeMarcus AC, unfortunately, with his ACL. And he's lost for the season. But it's a way for us to at least keep him on the roster. Maybe he can come back next year in camp and do something. Yeah, everybody's loving the quick hands and the spin moves there. And Highsmith has more than one move. This is not a one-trick pony. And Highsmith is going to be working with one of the best at Watt, and they're going to push each other to be great. And Watt's going to push him to be great. Watt and Bud pushed each other to be great. But Watt became the best, and now Watt is going to push Highsmith, I think, to be even better. But Highsmith's floor was better than Bud's floor. I think Bud's ceiling is higher than just about anybody I've ever seen at outside linebacker. He's just never reached it. Highsmith's floor is already high. I'd like to see his ceiling get extended. Would love to see that. And I'm hoping he has a dominant season too there, Raven Lassiter. I really do. Game ball, Presley Harvin. Kenny, I said that at the top of the show. I said it midway through the show. I'm saying it now too. That was my call instantly. Presley Harvin. That's one of the best punting games I've seen from a Steeler punter, period. And if we have that to look forward to, we've got a weapon like the way that freaking Ravens have Coke as a punter over there in Baltimore. Time to see this. Same thing, Blake. Yeah, good chiming in too. Also forgetting about Melvin. Can you imagine if he even plays like his old self? Yeah, it would be nice to see Melvin getting some work off the edge and making some plays. And now we've got riches at outside linebacker now. It's like, who are you going to play? How do you find time for all these great players to get on the field and make plays? But it's nice that we're not going to have to wear out Watt and Highsmith. We're going to have good rotations, and that's going to be great. That's really going to be great, especially if Roche's, I think, is going to make it just because it's special teams. I think he had a special teams tackle as well. So if you're making plays on special teams already as a rookie that's been drafted a little bit later and making plays as a sack and getting good pressure, you're making the team too. So it's we got a lot of talent now at outside linebacker, whereas we were worried when we lost, 2 of our top 4 outside linebackers. We lost Ola Iadani, and we lost Bud Dupree, both to Tennessee. So they got both of those guys. And now, we've got new up and comers, and they're looking good. Best outside, I'd say we had the best outside linebacker combo since Woodley Harrison. I don't know. I think that Dupree Watt was pretty special last year too. If Dupree didn't get hurt, the sky was the limit for that defense. Biggest Kickus. I love that, Riley Burgess. That's a great nickname for PH3. I love that. Biggest Kickus. Keep them coming, Steeler Nation. Don't sleep on number 8. He's been killing it in practice. Definitely has. I remember old number 8. Was that Bubby Brister's number? Or is that? No, that was Maddox. Maddox was number 8. Okay. You guys can correct me if I was wrong, but I think Maddox was number 8, was the old 8. But yeah, number 8 doing pretty well out there now too. Good to see Haskins and what he's doing. TV deal hits in 2 years to help that cap go up. Yes, it does. And the league is like, forcibly, limiting the cap from going up these past couple years, which will explode the cap as well. Yeah, that TV deal is going to be absolutely insane as well, because now you're going to have an extra revenue stream with the streaming rights. That's going to be a big deal, because that's where a lot of the money is going to be coming in as a new revenue stream, and they're going to be able to start charging Netflix, Amazon Prime, numbers that they'd be charging for a TV station deal. And that is just unheard of now. So like, it's extra revenue. It would kick up the cap by another 30%. And that's just insane. Absolutely insane. That's something I never thought would happen. But yeah, it's going to happen. Mink has to show out this preseason if he wants extended. Yeah, this season. I'm sorry. Yeah. Brian Davis, good point. I agree with that, but I think he's got the talent. He played tonight. I was surprised to see Fitzpatrick even on the field. I would not have suited him up. I think he's one of those players right now that you just don't put on the field until, not maybe even the whole preseason. Like, I don't think that guy needs a rep. It's just like Watt. I don't think Watt needs a rep entire preseason. Same thing with Ben. I don't think Ben needs a rep this preseason. Guy knows that these guys know how to play football. Hayward, same way. You got a couple guys where you just, maybe one drive, 3 games in, they might play one drive, and that's it. That's all I want to see out of them at the max. Did we watch the same game? Joints was better than Roche. Marsh didn't do anything. Marsh did something. He had a forced fumble on a sack fumble. And then he had he was at the quarterback on Highsmith's sack. So both of them there met at the quarterback. I mean, Highsmith pushed him into Marsh, but they both got there back. Yeah, Jones. Thanks for your correction there, Derek Croker. But I appreciate the input there on Facebook, man. I really appreciate that. Just, Marsh was doing it against higher talent as well, but I still have, no matter where you're playing in the lineup, you have to flash to be able to move up the lineup. And both of them flashed. So that was, to me, I was happy to see Marsh flash today, because he was a guy that I thought was kind of working his way backwards. Wormley, the other guy on defensive line that we still had. We did have 7 strong last year. Wormley was the extra guy because he was playing with the starting line, now that I'm remembering, out there in this game. And he was playing pretty well tonight too. Old Raven, new Steeler. So happy with the Steeler. Gabe Gotti over there checking in. Good to see you, Gabe. I know you're on here a lot when we were doing the draft and that, so always good to read with you, man. Our problem with the linebacker is not the outside, it's the inside linebacker. We are weak there. Bush, Spillane, but not much depth after that. Yeah, Chico, man, I can't argue. I thought that was the weak spot tonight. I mean, obviously not having Bush on the field hurts. I wanted to see more out of UG3, Ulysses Grant, because he had been a training camp phenom. He had been that player that was flashing in the preseason. Today, he did not look good. I thought he looked bad in coverage today. He let up that one big pass. And even tackling, I didn't think he was coming downhill as much as he was doing previous. I don't know if it's just early. He has room to improve. If he flashes the next 4 games or next 3 games, more power to him. That's right, because we have 4 this year. The rest of the league has 3 preseason games. So we'll have to see what he can do. And especially in that 2 games from now is going to be the one where all the starters are playing, and see what he can do with that, with the higher competition coming down through. Harris obviously played well. I liked what I saw out of Harris, Gabe. With you 100% on that. What do you think of the offensive line performance? Ahmad over there on Twitter. I liked it for what it was. We watched the second string line play and the first half. We watched the third string line play the second half. And we still haven't seen our first string line play. Maybe outside of Green. Kendrick Green might be the only first stringer that played tonight. So from what I saw, we got good push. We got our first downs when we were trying to get first downs on 3rd and 4th and short. I know we missed that one with Samuels late. But, outside of that, I thought we did a pretty damn good job getting push, putting the defense on their heels, and making a commitment that it looks like we're trying to shift to be more of a running team to get the defense on their heels a little bit. And I'm excited at least about how coaching is making the line and the entire missing the word, but just the whole performance of the line and what their strategy is going to be this year. We're going to be more downhill blocking, and it's better for younger offensive linemen to downhill block than it is for them to pass block and move backwards. As I've talked to, Riddick has told me that. All my offensive linemen that I've talked to, both with Kendall Simmons when we had him on the show, and Kevin Dotson when we had him on the draft show, both of them saying the same thing. It's easier to run block than it is to pass block because you're moving forward instead of moving backward. So I like the way that the coaching is going for run blocking this year. It's not going to be a finesse thing this year at all. Haskins, the GOAT. Nice, Logan. Sky's the limit for Haskins. So we'll see how it goes. Offense ran better with Haskins. I thought it ran fine with everybody, but it seemed like it did have a little bit of a spark with Haskins. Had a really good spark too with Dobbs. I was very surprised with Dobbs' performance and happily surprised. But a guy that's been as high as number 2, number 3 quarterback in a system before, been in the league for 4 or 5 years now, should be decimating the fourth stringers, should be at the fourth quarter of the first preseason game of the year. So we'll have to see how it goes moving forward. I know he kind of regressed last year preseason, but this year he did much better than all of last year, to tell you the truth. A lot of no names hungry. Yep, I was with you on that. Gabe Gotti. Oh yeah, Ahmad. Yeah, you could be biased because you're a Buckeye. Yeah, we know. We've got our college affiliations. I've got no affiliation. I was a Penn State fan, but I don't even really watch college football. I watch a couple games here and there. I watch the Senior Bowl and like the bowl games more than the regular season stuff. But I've been turned off to college football since '94 when they were pulled from getting a championship. When it was just political, and then the next 2 years they had co-championships. Nebraska should not have been the champion that year. It should have been Penn State. And I've been showing my disdain for college football ever since. Though I go to games. Like, I don't mind going to a Penn State game every once in a while. I'll go see a Pitt game. I saw Pitt Notre Dame in Pitt before, game before seeing the Steeler game the next day. Yeah, you got to respect, and I respect and watch and love all the Pittsburgh and the Pennsylvania teams. I've been to some Temple games. I've been to some Lycoming College in Div 3. They used to have a good program. Been to some of their games. It's something, yeah, I'll watch all of the Pennsylvania teams. Love watching them. Those guys do some work. Yeah. Congratulations, Kenneth Beamer. Good call. Coach Cowher, Troy Polamalu in the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to them. Yeah. All the Steelers in the Hall of Fame. You got Bill Nunn as a contributor. You've got Shell coming in. You got Alan Faneca coming in. There's 5 Steelers going in the Hall over the last 2 years coming in this year. So big props to all of them. A lot of Steeler busts going in the Hall of Fame this year. And it's only a good thing. Was Trey Edmonds playing the Derek Watt role tonight? Yes, Trey Edmonds was playing fullback. And they were sliding him on. And that's why I got excited on the Balaj touchdown. I'm like, there's a fullback on the field, because I saw Trey Edmonds in there too. I saw the big 33. And then I watched, and they actually put Trey Edmonds in line as at the tight end spot, the tight end, to kind of be that edge blocker. So nobody came in the inside. And he kind of like didn't have anybody really to hit, and walked in the end zone and kind of got in the end zone right there when Balaj hit the end zone and was excited and celebrated with everybody. But yes, Trey Edmonds is a fullback now. He's not a halfback on this team, strictly a fullback. And Derek Watt, I don't even know if he played tonight. I didn't see his number on the field. I don't remember seeing him, but we did see a lot of Trey tonight. But anybody else want to correct me, you can. O-line play well. We'll shut up the media. Yeah, I agree with that there, Kenneth. Trade Mason, keep Dobbs for next year. Like I said, I'm not ready to trade Mason. He's a quality backup quarterback in the league. In this league, unless you're getting good, if somebody throws a 2 or a 3, yes, goodbye Mason. But if I'm not getting a 2 or 3 for Mason, I don't even think about it, to tell you the truth. I wouldn't even think about getting rid of him this year. Especially with Ben possibly on his way out next year. You need the depth. We can't really think about moving quarterbacks, possibly Dobbs. I would think about trying to trade him again. If we can get another draft pick for Dobbs, that would be awesome. But I would personally, talent-wise, like to keep Haskins, Rudolph behind Ben this year. And if we can stash Dobbs on the practice squad, he is practice squad eligible. You put him there. So because I don't think he's made a start yet in the NFL. So he's definitely practice squad eligible. Carlos Davis getting better. I saw him flash a little bit too. He had a good stuff. I marked him down with a tackle at the line of scrimmage on the one play where we shed his guy really well, block and shed, and laterally moved to his right to make the tackle at the line of scrimmage. A good, probably 5-6 yards from where he started. to his right. So yeah, a nice shed and block and shed and track and tackle for no gain on that one play. And that was after I think we had a tackle for a loss the play before it. So good point there, Kentucky Derby fever. Yeah, I think Chico, man, I did say warmly. Thank you. Muth. I think I'm catching up to where you guys are. Canada's David Ridenour. I thought Canada's offense looked awesome. I'm really excited to see what he pulls out come the regular season. Keep wishing. I'd like to see more from McFarland, but Balaj looked good. And that's what we're going to see. A couple aspects. You're going to see more motion in the regular season. You're going to see more shifts in the regular season. But one thing you kind of saw today was the bootlegs. Bootlegs, for some reason, was not even in our freaking offensive game plan for the last two offensive coordinators. And I think Big Ben would love to start doing bootlegs because that was what his mentor Elway did. And I saw all three quarterbacks tonight run mini bootlegs, short bootlegs, and get out on the edge to extend plays, look for guys downfield, hit some guys downfield who come across late off of that play action and be wide open. So all for the bootlegs, and that's a big Canada stamp. Better chance to make the team, Dobbs or Balaj? Balaj. If I had to choose between those two, David, I'm going Balaj. Dobbs, I think, is destined for practice squad. And Brian Davis agrees with us. Didn't see too much pre-snap movement in Canada's offense tonight, as people talked about. Yeah, there's a couple early on, but once we got after that first drive, I don't think we saw any. But you're running vanilla offense. You don't want to show the Buffalo Bills what we're going to be running week one because it's going to be an insane motion fest week one. And I think we're going to get them to jump off sides a hell of a lot because their defense is good. Their front seven can get after the quarterback. And if we can get them moving and get some free plays, hopefully we can make some big plays against Buffalo first game of the season. I didn't think it looked like a Fickner offense. We didn't run any bubble screens. We had that one slip screen to DJ, which he ran well. But we were definitely getting blocking and push with the offensive line, and that's something we didn't have under Fickner. So we'll see. And I did like the motion stuff. If you noticed, the one thing that they ran, and here's a Matt Canada thing too, they ran the jet sweep pre-motion a lot in that first couple drives. Sometimes the jet got it. Sometimes it was a fake to the jet, went to the up back. Sometimes it was a fake to both, and they threw it down the field. And that's what you get out of Matt Canada. He uses the same look, same alignment, three different plays. And that makes you better. That makes you tougher to game plan against. Makes you have to look for things as Ben's foot moving backwards at the line of scrimmage, at the snap, all that crap. But they can't get it off of the play call. If you're watching the play call happen, you don't know what you're seeing. It could be any one of those three. And I'm with you, Kenny. Yeah, Minkus Fitzpatrick should not have played at all tonight. Yep, Dana, I don't forget Shell there, Chico, man. I'm with you. Yeah, and it took a long time. And now, Chico, man, and rest of Steeler Nation, now that we have actual stats from the 70s Super Bowl, the 70s teams, the sack stats has come out. LC Greenwood led all the Steelers, all of the Steel Curtain in sacks, which I was surprised. I thought that would have definitely been Green as opposed to Greenwood leading the 70s Steelers in sacks. Nope. And for that alone, I mean, you know how sack happy the league is. If they knew the amount of sacks they had and they're still holding them out on that awesome team. Yeah, Greenwood's going to make the Hall. I think that just solidifies how good he is to make the Hall of Fame. Highsmith named player of the game. Nice, Brian. Was he named? Is he your player of the game, or was he just named player of the game on somebody's radio broadcast? And I can't argue with that. He was my defensive player of the game. Loved every play he was in on. He was really good at. His hands were great, keeping people off him, shedding blocks, spinning, using power, using swims. I mean, the guy has a lot of moves, and I love watching all of them. So, really happy with the way he performed in his first game now, moving up the roster. Evan Howard, what did you think of Anthony Johnson, Gilbert number 17, and Steiner number 26? Johnson can be a good depth receiver and good special teams player. Steiner showed good ball skills on his pick. I like AJ a lot. I've interviewed AJ, a big, tall receiver out of Buffalo, University of Buffalo. Good guy. I thought he had a nice catch on the sideline. His first catch was a low catch. He reached down and grabbed it well. He fumbled that one ball that got fumbled forward, and I think Simmons recovered it. But he looked good on special teams too. He was making some plays and getting down there in the field and coverage teams. He can do that, but right now it's like you got to talk about, are you still going to have Claypool do that? Ray going to do that? Well, Ray's going to make the team as a returner. I don't think Sexton's going to take the position from him, but Sexton looked good tonight too, as far as for that. Gilbert looked decent. I thought he flashed. I think I actually wrote him up doing something here. Just looking at my low stuff because I bolded big plays. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't see anything jumping out here for him, but I remember he did fine. He has room to grow. Steiner jumped out at me twice. He made the interception on a great click and close. He read the play. He jumped the route, and he made a great interception. Love that play. Love the aggressiveness. And that I love that aggressiveness and football intelligence out of my safeties. And that's what I expect to see out of my safeties. Also made a big tackle on kick coverage. Got down the field, made the tackle, busted the blocker. So Steiner can play his way onto this team as a special teamer and as a backup safety, because really I think the backup safety depth is kind of wide open there. Yeah, we've got our starters entrenched, Edmonds and Fitzpatrick, but behind there it's anybody's game, and it's going to be who performs the best. Yep, I forgot. My bad. Just excited football's back. No problem, Kenny. We're all excited football back. It really didn't hit me till right before the game. I'm like, holy crap, we got football tonight. So I was super, super excited. Do you think we could trade Snell and get something back? He has game experience. Brian Davis, the only way we're trading Bell is if he gets healthy. Right now, he's not healthy. There's no chance of trading an injured player. Zero. So hopefully he gets a little healthier. Kenny Stryker, appreciate the recap. Thank you, brother. Anytime, man. This is just fun to do. And usually I'll be doing these either with Colton. I was trying to get one of the inserts on the recap tonight too, taking the Q&A, but I'm just glad that this is a good idea. This is Colton Gesser's idea. And that's the reason why we even started bringing him into the mix, was we need to be talking about the game after the game. This is more exciting than, those radio shows that you listen to for recaps. Yeah, I love Batch and listen to hear what he has to say too, but this is straight out. We get our questions answered. We're not as, football intelligent. I'm like making up words, intelligently gifted as like Charlie Batch. That'll be a copism, intelligently given. Yoy, double yoy. So yeah, I've been intelligently gifted here to be able to at least answer some questions from at least what I see visually. And I'm enjoying it. And I enjoy doing this with you guys, man. It gets me excited. I'm still excited. It's 11:55 at night. It's nearly tomorrow. Yeah, LC certainly deserves to be in the Hall of Fame too. Hollywood Bags, great nickname. That's one of LC Greenwood's nicknamed. Loved him. Can't believe he's gone. I know. Heart goes out to him, man. But he should be in the Hall. Posthumously, definitely. Didn't see Derek Watt either. Okay, cool. I just making sure I wasn't seeing anything too. Used to own the Applebee's franchise in Pittsburgh, LC Green. I did not know that, Brian Davis. That's cool. Sexton seems like the sixth guy behind Ray to me, based on the game alone. I don't know. I like AJ too. Anthony Johnson. Steelers like guys that can make plays on special teams. But the problem is there's only room for one returner. And if Ray's your returner, you're not going to keep Sexton on the roster as a returner. But Sexton, this is going to be a difficult cut down for the practice squad. Because I think Steelers usually keep two. If it's the extended roster, we may keep three. But I think Sexton's got a good shot to make it. I think AJ's got a really good shot to make it because he can do so much on special teams as well right now. So it's those guys that make some plays on special teams. Sexton made some plays today on special teams. But I will state also that Sexton screwed up and fair caught that one punt that he was running backwards for, and that was a returnable punt. So, he made a mistake there too. He's not perfect. He's young, and hopefully he keeps building on it, making better plays. So that's what I want to see out of him too. Replying to Dave Ridenour, I don't like Ray. Okay, well, if you don't like Ray, you don't like him, but he's a little pinball-y guy, works on the inside, and if he gets his head back to the returner that he was before he got banged up on that one fumble, I think the sky's the limit for him as well. I thought he did a good job in traffic today. But he's essentially like your Eli Rogers type guy that's a better returner. And that's all you can ask for. I liked how well Norwood played quite a bit in the earlier drives. I'm with you there too, David. I liked Norwood as well. And shots during the regular season, most of us half in the bag should be pretty hilarious. Yeah, there might be a couple games where I'm, especially if we're losing, you might get drunk Cope, as you guys know me over on the when I run those Q&As over on Steeler Nation. It's always fun to do that one. And that's my question and answer segment over on Steeler Nation Football Forum. Go over and join it, guys. It's hilarious and fun. And if you have a thick skin, you'll have a great time over there. And nobody has thicker skin. And I make fun of myself all the time. So it's if you can do that and laugh at yourself, you'll have a great time over at Steeler Nation Football Forum. Balaj apparently suffered a lower body injury that's being evaluated. Hope it's not too serious. I do like him. I'm with you too, Chico, man. Yeah, I'm glad. See, this is why I love Steeler Nation. You guys are letting me know how the injury report is sounding. And yeah, I'm with you too, because I think Balaj he's a cagey vet. He's a smart vet. He's a better receiver than Snell. So I think he shows me a better all-around game being a backup than Snell does. But right now, if they're both hurt, we might have to think about picking up another running back or bringing Trey back to halfback again, having him do double duty and halfback, fullback. But we'll see. We'll see. And Brian Davis is corrected. Yes, his office was in Edgewood behind the Applebee's there. Love Greenwood, and his partner was also a Steeler. Yep. So great stuff, guys. All right, guys. Well, that's all the questions for the Q&A tonight. Thanks for joining me. Thank you for being as excited about the first Steeler preseason game. I don't know when the next podcast is going to be. It kind of should be earlier than later since we've just had a game. I'll see if I can get one in tomorrow. If not, it'll be Monday or Tuesday because I just have such a busy weekend coming up. I'm going to be working. So, I got to do a lot for work tomorrow too. So probably going to be Monday. So I'll see you guys on Monday. We'll walk for there. Just keep your head open it'll come across on Twitter. It'll come across on SteelerNation.com exactly when the podcast is going to be, but I'll shoot you guys the time so we can do this again and have a good time. So peace out, Steeler Nation. Love you guys. Big Steeler win tonight. First of many, hopefully this season. And as always, you know what I like to say, go